New Year is just around the corner. How about welcoming it with a new towel? Since 2022 is the year of the tiger, I chose a rather cute applique to mark this new year. Stay with me to show you how to make it. Let's begin with a blank design. For this video we're going to use a 40 cm wide towel, so the hoop closest to that size is the 23 by 23 centimeters or 9 by 9 inches hoop. Let's start with text tool from the lettering section. Enter 2022 in the text. Select a font and size. Set the color to get closer to the finished image. Now right-click on the text object and use Break Apart option to split it into individual numbers. Select the 0, right-click and click Convert to Curves. Now we can edit the shape using the node editor. Since we want to remove the hole, we need to select all inner nodes. Right-click on any of the inner nodes and use Select Polyline option and press the Delete key. Actually, I'm trying to shape this into a tiger's head. So first we will start the ellipse tool to create the tiger's ears. Once you have one ear ready, select it and press Duplicate button to create one more for the other side. Now move the duplicate horizontally to the other side of the head. If you hold the Control key pressed down, you make sure that you're moving parallel to that axis. After placing the ears, select both ears and then the face. Click Weld from the shaping to combine the ears and face into one object. Now we need to draw the stripes. Select Outline Shape from Digitize to draw the tiger's stripes. Using the node editor, you can fine-tune the shapes. Once you have a set of stripes ready, you can make copies and place it on the right side and on the top of the head. Notice that in order to edit each set of stripes individually afterwards, make sure that the Add New Objects as Clones option from the Edit menu is disabled. Now select the stripes, press on the Duplicate button and then Mirror X. Now move the new set of stripes to the left side. Likewise, make another set of stripes and then rotate them by 90 degrees. This time move to the top of the head. Take your time to fine-tune the placement of the stripes as best as you like them. You may also adjust the shape of the stripes using the node editor. Select all the stripes, select a fill color and remove the outline color. Now we need to select all the numbers of the year together with the shape of the tiger's head. Right-click and use Combine option to turn them into one object. Now, from the object properties, select Applique Fill Type. As you can see, the object looks like a fabric now. It doesn't have stitches anymore. At this point, we need to select the satin fix for the applique decoration. Again, using the ellipse tool, we shall create the eyes. Create a small ellipse at the position of one eye. Make a duplicate and move it to the position of the other eye. Set the same color. Following the same procedure, we'll create the whisker pad. Using the ellipse tool, make 2 circles and place them in a way that they slightly overlap when you slide them horizontally. Select both of them and use Weld option from the shaping menu to make them one. Finally, create the nose with the ellipse tool again. Apply the color and remove the outline. Fine-tune the shapes and stitch types to complete the tiger. At this point, you may want to take a close look at the sequence manager on the applique part. As you can see, Remove Overlaps is automatically applied for the stripes, which are on top of the applique. But for this design, we don't want those stitches, so select the stripes, eyes, mouth and nose, and from the Properties bar, go to Remove Overlaps option and set it to Never. If you look at the embroidery order at this point, the target stripes will be embroidered on top of the satin fixed stitches. If you embroider in this order, the finishing will not be beautiful, I'm afraid. In this case, it would be better to set the embroidery order to manual. To do so, first click on Auto button. The auto sequence functionality is now disabled and we can manually reorder the design. As you may notice, the number of objects which are to be sequenced has increased by setting it to manual. Still, the order of the applique outlines cannot be changed yet. To make that possible, click Optimize, select Advanced and click OK. The applique is now separated into position mark and tacking stitches and fixed stitches, so each one of them can now be reordered. Drag the tiger's satin fixed stitch after the tiger's stripes. Now, let's switch to slow redraw to check on the new sequence. As you can see, first the position and stitches are added and then the machine stops. This is for you to place the applique fabric. Continue with the fixing stitches and the machine will stop once more for you to cut the excess fabric. Now, the stripes, eyes, mouth and nose are added, and finally comes the satin fix. If everything in your sequence is just as described, then you're ready to go. Have in mind that if you print the design at 100%, the printout will help you position the design on the towel accurately. Once the design is ready, prepare it for the machine. Don't forget to gather all the materials you need. That is, a towel, the applique fabric, tearaway stabilizer, water-soluble foil, adhesive spray, and of course the assorted threads. Don't forget the right hoop and the printout. Now, let's get started. Hoop stabilizer. Draw a vertical center line. Make a mark on the vertical center of the towel. Mark the position of the horizon. And place the towel on the hoop. Secure the towel to the stabilizer. This time I used an adhesive spray for the tearaway stabilizer, but you can use a different type of stabilizer or use pins to secure the towel, whatever is convenient for you. Place the pile cloth film on the towel. Secure it with pins. And ready to go. Open the design. Set the bobbin and the upper thread. Press start. The machine will now sew placement stitches which indicate the position of the applique. Place the applique cloth and press start. The machine will now sew tucking. Remove the hoop from the sewing machine and cut off any unnecessary parts of the applique cloth. Attach the hoop to the machine once again, change the thread and press start to proceed with the embroidery part. Continue embroidering with the necessary thread changes. When the embroidery is complete, remove the hoop from the machine and remove the pins, film and stabilizer. Peel off the stabilizer while being careful not to pull on the pile. It's ready. This was our take of this design. Feel free to make your own version, experimenting with different placements or different types of stripes, and don't forget to share it with us.